we're just starting, so just getting started. I'm really liking, I liked my first experience with the Substack Live yesterday. Excellent. Welcome, Nicole. Happy you're here. And I like it for, I like Substack Live better than TikTok Live for a couple of reasons. Number one, hi, Bill Hooten. Love you. Happy you're here. Number one, well, the one thing I don't like about Substack Live, on TikTok Live, they just grab people from all over the ether, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people just show up out of nowhere. And a few of them, are on the wavelength, and so, that's how we grow. In Substack, they only notify the our subscribers. So by definition, our audience is going to be smaller. But why do I like it better? For a couple of reasons. Number one, the audience is like preaching to the converted. I don't have to convince anybody to do anything, or, you know, I just don't have to convince anybody. You're here because you want to be here and you know what we're going to be talking about. And the other thing is they post the live right after the event. And I really, really like that. And each live event is like its own little creation. So I'll be here, was it 4:40? I'll be here for about 90 minutes or so, maybe more, maybe less. But that 90 minutes is its own little creation, and then it lives on, and other people who weren't here in real time can actually watch it and benefit from it. I'm loving it. I'm really, really happy that I was really worried, like sleepless nights over leaving TikTok because TikTok is so powerful. But I have to be honest with you. Once I did the live yesterday, I felt so much better about the Substack live here. And um I also am going to be happy when I delete the TikTok app completely. And I'm just done with it. It was a good run for a couple of years for me. I enjoyed it. I got 30,000 followers. Hey, John. I got a lot of followers. I got a lot of dopamine from it, but all that scrolling, and I met a lot of nice people, and most of the people in the collective now, most of you probably were all, come from TikTok as well. So it's a platform that we all know. But I'm not going to miss it I'm not going to delete the app because I'll still have the following, but I'm not going to put any effort into the lives maybe for another couple of days. So I was really worried about that, and now I'm not worried about that. And after yesterday's live, I just feel a lot better, and I am just not at all going to miss TikTok. I'll find something else to waste my time with, I'm sure. So we talked yesterday, and I want to continue on this vein about what is the collective. And I'll first tell you some of the challenges that we have as a collective in doing this kind of work. It's really not easy because everybody is on a different journey, a different path. There's no real starting line where everybody starts the same. There are people way ahead, people at the starting line, people way back, people even further back than them. So there's no commonality of experience level or preparation or background. And that's hard in itself. But the other thing that's hard about this work, and as a teacher or a coach or a guide, what makes it especially hard is that there's no common knowledge base. So I either have to repeat the same things over and over again for the new people that are showing up, or move on and get into more advanced topics for the people who have been showing up. But then the people who are showing up for the first time aren't on this. In other words, there's no common knowledge base. So that's something I'm going to want to think about. And for me personally, the common knowledge base is these two books here, Meditation for Life and The Cycle of Mind. Um, those books kind of, give us a baseline where we can talk about, because until you grasp these concepts that are in the cycle of mind, you don't really, it's everything is subconscious. You don't really see it. Anyway, so those are some challenges that we have. But on the other hand, we're doing something that hasn't been done before. We're creating a six-dimensional organization, and we're gathering and coalescing six-dimensional energy. And what I've learned, and I'll share with you how all this works. Well, let me. Oh man, I didn't bring it. How long would it take me to find that book? Here we go. That wasn't bad. No, that's not it. Never mind. Not going to be able to find it. But I want to find it. I want to find it. Give me a second and let me see if I can find this. I'm looking for a picture. Mhm, mhm. All right. I'm going to talk about the Sri Yantra for a few minutes. Let me. There are okay. So let me show you a cleaner picture of it. All right. This isn't the best picture, and it's hard to see, and I apologize for that. But um, just Google Sri Yantra and get your own picture, and it looks. I just this is the first book I was able to find with the Sri Yantra, so I just really hard for me to explain. It's easier to do on Zoom, or I can share my screen. But the Sri Yantra, oh, I really don't. Forget it. Never mind. How's everybody doing? Everybody okay? All right. So the Sri Yantra is a document. It's a drawing that's verifiably at least 10,000 years old, and probably goes back certainly 5,000 years before that, maybe 50 or 100,000 years back. Who knows? But the Sri Yantra is a drawing of how the universe expands and contracts on a regular basis. So it creates, it explodes out, the universe explodes out. And then when it reaches the end, when it reaches the third dimension, then the second dimension, boom, it pulls back in. So if you've ever been in the ocean, you know, you're up to your knees in the water, you feel the power of the wave. That's the projection of the universe outward. And then you feel that equal power, but it's different, that drawing in power that pulls the water back into the ocean. It's that explosion of creation and the drawing back of creation. And the Sri Yantra is a multidimensional picture. It shows how the dimensions, how things explode from one dimension to the other, eventually resulting in our third dimensional experience. And the energy is very structured. It doesn't just blow up in any random order. It blows up and energy is transmitted out in a particular structure, always the same every time. So, as an energetic structure to this exploding universe and the drawing back and the exploding and the drawing back, there's an energetic structure. So, there's a couple of things because there's an energetic structure. That means you and I, our own bodies, our own energy body is also structured, geometrically structured. And one of the meditations that I've been doing is to just kind of relax into that geometric energy structure without worrying about trying to be different, just kind of letting the energy flow through me as it was meant to flow through me in whatever patterns it was meant to flow through me. So that's one thing that's important about that. But the reason the universe explodes and draws back and explodes and draws back is after the universe presents itself and creates itself, all of us on the tail end of that creation, we observe the creation, we learn something, we take some action or we have some preference. And then what happens is the universe gives us this reality. We think about it, we experience it, we like it, don't like it, take new actions. And the universe listens to us for a period of time, and then draws the universe back to within itself and says, "Oh, okay, you didn't like that. I'm going to give this is what you want." And it gives you another version of the universe, very close to the first one, but slightly different based on what we learned. And then again, we learn from that experience. we take new actions, have an opinion about it, and the universe draws back to, oh, I see. I thought you wanted that. This is what you really want. And the universe projects back what it learned from itself and projects back a slightly different version of the universe over and over again. And if you've seen those old black and white movies from the 1920s, they were 16 frames per second. And you can see that they were jumpy. Like you could tell it was a series of still pictures. You could see the jumps in the picture. Do you know that the modern movies, like the TV shows you watch or the football game that you watch on TV, is only 24 frames per second? I thought if 16 frames per second is jumpy, it would be like 24,000 frames per second, but it's only 24 frames per second. And at that rate of projection, our minds don't perceive movement. They don't perceive the difference between the last frame and this frame. The universe projects and draws back, let's just use a number, 1,000,000,000,000 times a second. So clearly we don't see this happening. We're not aware of this experience. It's not different enough for us to tell the difference every trillionth of a second. But here's what you can do. This is where I'm going with this. When the universe projects out, it it's kind of asking you, like, is this what you wanted? Like, is this what you asked for? And you say, no, not quite. I want something different. So okay, great. It draws back and it tries again. Is this what you wanted? Not quite. Here's the point. We, having this knowledge, can stand here in the third dimension with a big sign and say, this is what I want. I don't want to make it confusing for the universe to know what I want. This is what I want. I got a big sign. This is what I want. And so each time the universe, oh, I see, that's what you want, it draws back, and incrementally, your life begins to change. Your life stream begins to adapt. So when you hold up the sign and point to it, say, yeah, yeah, this is what I want. I don't want there to be any confusion. I want to be healthier. I want to be happier. I want to be more abundant. I want to feel more balanced and aligned and more peaceful. This is what I want. So there's no confusion. But the universe doesn't listen to your words. It's not a verbal thing. The universe responds to your actions. It responds to your, more specifically, repeated actions. It responds to your rhythms and patterns. So if you come home from work and you just watch TV for 6 hours and then go to sleep, the universe said, oh, okay, he's pretty happy. That's what he wants. So then he keeps giving you the same universe over and over and over and over again. The same reality is projected over and over again. When you start to take different actions, new actions, now that you get the first couple of times you don't get the universe's attention. You do them repeatedly over and over and over again, like we're doing our deep breathing challenge. You do that repeatedly over and over again. I get it. You want this. So instead of holding up a sign with words, we have to create new habits, new actions, new routines, which create new patterns, new rhythmic patterns. And those rhythmic patterns are what eventually get returned to us, if that makes sense. If you want something different in life, you got to hold up the sign. Say, hey, I don't want this. I want something different. But it's more than just holding up a sign. It's taking actions in accordance with what you want. So the easiest thing to understand is your health. Take new actions as it relates to health. Start a new spiritual practice, meditating morning and night. Do all of these things over and over and over again. The universe is, oh, okay, I see you. Now you're pretty serious. That's what you want. I'll make you healthier. Oh, you want to be, want better relationships? Yeah, we can work on that. You want to feel more abundant, more balanced, more aligned? We can work with that. And all of a sudden, the things that you asked for, not with your words, but with your actions and your habits, become your reality over time, if you can imagine that. Now, the third dimension in this construct, the third dimension is vibratory. It's a dimension of mind. Mind is vibratory. It's always changing, always moving. And that vibratory dimension, as I described in the cycle of mind, responds to repetitive patterns, new routines, new habits, new thought structures, new, mental word tracks over and over and over and over again. And that's how you and I, in our own physical body, from within the third dimension, can modify our third dimensional experience. So mind responds to these patterns. Here's the payoff. In the sixth dimension, and by the way, the fourth dimension is where we journal about it. The fourth dimension is where we is where we say, you know, here's what I want to do. I journal. Here's what I learned. Here's what I know. Here's how I feel. Here are my plans for the future. So the fourth dimension is like your journal. Think of the fourth dimension like your journal. You write it down, modify your behavior according to what you wrote down, and then that manifests in your three-dimensional behavior, and that manifests in new realities being projected to you over a longer period of time. That's the fourth dimension. It's like your journal. The sixth dimension is magnetic power. I keep saying this, but I hope one day you'll experience it. When you anchor yourself in the sixth dimension, it's not a personal magnetic power, although I feel in my own skeleton, because I've been doing a lot of energy work for over a very long period of time, I feel like kind of an electromagnetic feeling in my bones, in my skeleton, particularly in my arms and hands. It's a magnetic energy in the sixth dimension. So here I am in the sixth dimension, trying to anchor myself as best I can in the sixth dimension. And here you come and you're starting to understand. And then boop, oh, I understand the sixth dimension. And the minute you gain sixth dimensional consciousness, watch what happens. There's an energy connection between the two of us. And then she shows up. Now there's an energy connection with three of us, four, five, six, seven. And the collective is designed specifically to draw a circle around all that energy and harness that energy and direct it to the purposes that we decide as a collective we want to manifest, or a timeline that we in the collective agree that, yeah, this is a better timeline than the one we have now. So let's all put our energy, our sixth dimensional energy, into this new timeline. Now watch what happens. When you create consistent patterns in the sixth dimension, it's like a magnetic force. But now it's just not any old random magnetic force. We've coalesced it and cooperated and gathered our sixth dimensional force. So now it's like a magnetic shape. And here's the payoff. The third dimension, which normally required us to do things over and over and over again, will manifest this magnetic shape much quicker. So I call the sixth dimension the dimension of timelines, and you're in it now. So once we rise up to the sixth dimension as a collective, which is where our collective is going to stay, here in the sixth dimension, we create magnetic patterns. We energize those patterns with our collective energy and our collective thoughts and actions. So we energize those patterns and they become patterns that then manifest as they manifest in the third dimension. So we'll begin to experience our timeline in the third dimension. I think if I said that in public, people would think I'm crazy. How do you feel about that? In other words, we can solve. Yeah, we have to work together. That's the key. And as I said earlier, I don't know if I said this earlier. The challenge, I think I did. The challenge, I talked to myself, so I'm not sure if I talked to myself before I hit the live button or I actually said it to you guys. The challenge in this work is that everyone's off on their own journey. Phil Hooden's on his little journey. Nicole's on her journey. I'm on my journey. We all connect like in this live. I use the analogy of we're all in our hobbit holes and we come out of our hobbit holes for this hour during the live and we all present our best version of each other to each other. But when the live is over, we go back into our hobbit holes. I go back into my life. You go back into your life. She goes back into her life. He goes back into his life. And so there's no continuity. And that's really challenging. But what we're going to do is we're going to look past that and we're just going to start to come together as a collective and begin to imagine a new timeline. Yep. So here's the thing, right? Here's my commitment to you. When we have 100 paying members, we have 19 right now. And I appreciate that, Natalia, because all I see is myself here, so I think I'm talking to myself. But thank you. Um, when What was I saying? I said something. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I was going to say, here's my commitment to you as a collective, because I want you to understand in a way maybe you don't understand now. This is your collective. All right, this is our collective. You are going to have an equal voting share in this collective. It seems in the beginning that it's my collective because I'm the one who set it up and created it, thought of it, the whole thing, spent the money on all the videos, all that bullshit. So it's my collective now, but it's not my intention for it to be my collective forever. So when we have 100 members, I commit to you that we will then start to organize. We'll form committees. Our first one, we'll have many first things that we want to do. So there'll be a series of things that we'll want to do as a collective. Um, I won't get into it now, but we'll form committees. And the reason I say I want 100 paying members is because I use the 30-70 rule or the 70-30 rule. 70% of those 100 paying members will not really be interested. They're just passive. They're just paying $10 a month just to see what happens. The other 30%, 30 people, will be actively involved. It's those 30 people that I'll start working with, and we will actually start to organize because I don't want to put everything on one person. Like, I don't want it just to be me and you because then either me or you has to do it all the time. I want there to be to spread this work over other people, get their thoughts, their inputs, their active, their work, their support. So when we have 100 paid members, we'll start our organizational meetings. When we have 1,000 paid members, we will create a legal structure that will make it very, very clear that I have one vote, you have one vote, she has one vote, we have one vote, and we'll write almost like a constitution that will define not only the legal structure but the operating rules of the collective. No, I'm doing 100 members and 1,000. Those are benchmarks for me that I like because once we have 100 members, it'll go pretty quickly. Once we start putting our plans in place, it'll go pretty quickly to 1,000 members. Once we have 1,000 members, then we will. I'll make a commitment that we will find a lawyer and we will create a legal structure. Now, the structure that I'm thinking, which is off the topic of enlightenment, I understand, but the structure that we're going to use is what's called an association. If you're not in the United States, you may not know what an association is, but like the American Automobile Association, the National Basketball Association, the National Hockey League is an association, the Major League Baseball Players Association, the Boston Historic Preservation Alliance Association. America has millions and millions of associations, and associations are a really interesting legal entity. They don't answer to anybody except the members of the association. Like the American Medical Association, 170,000 doctors pay their dues into the American Medical Association. And the only purpose of the AMA, the only purpose is for the benefit of its 170,000 members. So the only purpose of the collective is for the benefit and the well-being of its members. That's the only purpose. It doesn't exist for any other reason than to support health-wise, however we figure out the health and well-being of our collective. No, I don't think it needs to be. I disagree with you. Structure is important. The universe is structured. We just don't see it. Their structure is important. Structure is something that's solid, something you can count on. And when you wake up and when you go walk away from it, it doesn't break down and turn into vapor. It's still there working behind the scenes. So when we go to sleep, the structure is still working. Structure is important. And the other alternative is for people to just try to all figure this out on their own and be like free electrons. And, 1 out of 1,000 will figure it out. But anyway, I digress. I hear what you're saying. I assume that's Vila. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's by our rules. It's our collective. We make up the rules. We decide the purpose of the collective. We decide everything. I mean, I have ideas. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I've got lots and lots and lots of ideas organizationally of things that we can do. And my goal in the collective is the first goal of the collective is to heal our own selves, to heal our members, to heal ourselves, to be a healing presence for our families. The second goal of the collective is then to spread that healing to other parts of humanity, which are not necessarily in the collective. So to be a source of healing. And there we have it. I don't know why I feel driven to talk about this next topic. And all I would tell you, Villa, is just be patient. I don't know I don't make any promises or guarantees. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how it's all gonna come together. All I'm saying is at the point where there's 100 paying members, now we're gonna start to do some planning and form some committees and do some, just be better. We're gonna get more organized at what we do. When there's 1,000, then we're gonna turn it into a legal organization where I don't control it. We control it collectively. And I have an equal voice that everyone else has. Everyone has a voice, everybody has a vote. Not everyone will have an equal voice, but everyone will have an equal vote. So that's that. I want to talk about health. I want to talk about health. And I don't want to spend a whole long time talking about it, but I want to share with you 5 things that I want you to be thinking about as it relates to your health. Number one, the health is your first and highest priority. You've got to number one, appreciate this gift that you have, and you have to start taking care of it better. Now, many of you are well along on your health journey, and you don't really need to hear this, but this is for folks that really want to amp up their vibratory level. And when I'm talking about health, I'm not talking about push-ups and sit-ups. I'm talking about energetic health at the cellular level. Energetic health at the cellular level. That's the kind of health I'm talking about. And I want to talk about 5 aspects of health. Number 1 is breathing. We've got to expand, you've got to learn how to expand your lung capacity and get in touch with the muscle structure around your lungs. That includes, of course, your diaphragm. That includes the intercostal muscles. They're flat little muscles between your ribs. You need to learn how to get a hold of those and expand your rib cage so that you can get much more air in your lungs. And then also your back muscles. If when you breathe in, you've got to expand and push against your back muscles, because if you don't, your back muscles will, again, all these forces are compressing your lungs. We want to expand lung capacity. So health is at the center of the thought matrix. For those of you reading The Cycle of Mind, health is at the center of the thought matrix. Breathing is at the center of health. It's the single easiest yet most important thing you can do to raise your cellular vibration. And if you raise your cellular vibration, you're raising your immune system, your cells are operating at a higher efficiency level. You're just at a whole different level of health. And I'll say again, this COVID thing, that was just like the rumbling thunder in the distance. The storm is coming. Over the next 10, 20, 30 years, there are going to be dozens of deadly viruses that are going to sweep through our population. And if your vibration is high enough, your immune system is high enough, you could get infected, which would be very hard not to get infected if the whole population is like with COVID. It was hard not to get. Most people got infected, but 90% of the people didn't even know they got infected. Why? Because their immune system was strong enough to fight off the infection. COVID killed, first of all, debilitated, and then killed millions of people, all one thing in common: low immune system. So forget the doctors, raise your own immune system. And the cheapest, best, fastest way to do that, become a deep breather. And when you work on your deep breathing practice, I want you to think 3 months out and 3 years out. So that 3 years from now, you're always deep breathing throughout the day. Every time I drive my car, every time I put my hands on the steering wheel, that's a trigger for me to remind myself to take a deep breath. And you can put these triggers all throughout your life. So number one in health is deep breathing. I know I beat on it all the time, but it's important. Let's take 3 deep breaths right now. The first is with the diaphragm, using the diaphragm through the nose. The second is through the mouth and pulling the ribs apart. So we take 3 deep breaths, hold it at the top for 2 or 3 heartbeats. And then when you exhale, push your ribs and your diaphragm in intentionally, because you're trying to get a hold of those muscles. Push those ribs and the diaphragm and even your back muscles in tight, expel the air. And then diaphragm, first part of the breath, ribs and back, hold it, and then squish it out again 3 times. Muscle memory, do that 9, 10 times a day, 10 deep breaths just like that. Do 3 in the morning, 3 at night, couple throughout the day. And what you're trying to do is you're planting little habit seeds that will eventually take root. And then subconsciously, a few weeks from now, you're going to start to become a deep breather on your own. That's the most important aspect of your health, period. Nothing more. Number two, we're going to talk about your posture. That's the second thing you've got to square away. There are three, and you've got to work on this again over a long period of time, not just once, but over a long period of time. There are three balance points, if you will, or three checkpoints in your posture. The first, you can see this while you can sit up straight, or of course, if you're standing, it's better. The first is your sacrum. That's the triangular bone that connects the two hip bones, and it's like a triangular bone that the hip bones plug into. It's like kind of it's the sacrum. It's the word itself means it's the sacred bone. It's the sacred part. It's the sacred bone. It's the bone that connects the top to the bottom, that bears all the pressure and all the weight. It's a really important bone. That's your first. So you got to find your sacrum, and you got to make sure it's not collapsed or pushed backwards. So mostly when we sit, the sacrum just collapses in. When you're sitting, and certainly when you're standing, you want your sacrum. You don't have to project it outward. Just keep it square. And when you're standing, your sacrum should be right over your center of gravity. So that's the sacrum. The next checkpoint is two little imaginary spots underneath your bottom ribs. When they say chest out, just this is what you need to do. Just make sure these aren't collapsed in. You want these up and out. So sacrum, I don't know what to call these two little points on the back of your ribs. And then the third one is a couple of different things. You might want to consider your shoulder blades, but you also, where that in the back of your spine, where it bulges out, that last spinal bone, you really want to make sure you're rolling your neck back and forth. You really want to work on your posture. That's really important, because when your posture is poor or you sit too much, it starts to put stress on the large muscles in the back. And that's how you end up walking around with back pain and out of alignment. And if you're out of alignment, if your spine is out of alignment, the nerve energy doesn't flow through it. This is how chiropractors make money, because people's nerve energy, their central nervous system, is not flowing because there's so much angles and pressure and all that stuff. And that's really important. And that's just something you'll get better at over a lifetime. Every time, like, I have a refrigerator and I get the water, like I watching TV, I have my cup. And then when I'm finished, I go to the refrigerator and I fill it up through the filtered water. Every time I use that as a posture checkpoint. Every morning for 60 seconds, I stand in front of a mirror and make sure I'm standing straight. Just like I told you, breathing is muscle memory, posture is muscle memory. So the more times you are aware of your posture, the more time you'll be aware of your posture. It just becomes a habit to start to become aware of your posture. It's really, really important. Don't let it slump. Right? You got to fight against age and gravity. Number three, health. So the first one was breath. The second one was posture. The third one is energy cultivation. Now, this meditation that we do in the book Meditation for Life, that's a central channel flow. Right. Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, here's another. Let me just back up about health, because this is really important, right? Your future health is literally determined today. Literally. I'm 66. You guys are, I'm sure, all younger than me. When you're 70 years old, do you want to be hunched over on a walker, with an oxygen tube in your nose? Because that's what a lot of 70, 75-year-old people are, if they even live that long. They're hunched over. They have no quality of life for the last 20 years of their life. I don't want to be that way. I want to be healthy all the way till the end. I don't know when the end is. It could be during this live. Who knows? But all the way to the end, I want to be healthy, robust, breathing, jumping upstairs two at a time, and I don't want to be hunched over in a walker with an oxygen tube. I don't want that for my future. So I create a better health. I'm on a better timeline now because of the work I've been doing over the last 3, 4, 5 years. And don't tell me, if you're old, that, "Oh, I don't have any energy." Let's say you're 60 years old. "Oh, I don't have any energy. I can't work out. I just don't have any energy." Let me tell you a secret. If you're 60 years old, when you're 70, you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, "I wish I had the energy and the vitality and the strength I had when I was 60." Because it doesn't just automatically get better, it automatically gets worse. Your health will deteriorate, but you don't use the excuses, "I'm too old, I'm not in good health, I've been in bad health for so long, I can't do it." Don't use that excuse. Move your health to a higher timeline. All these things we're talking about, breathing, posture, energy cultivation. And this energy cultivation is the chi, the prana. You've got to learn to ground yourself. You should get a grounding mat if you don't get outside and hang out with the trees and barefoot on the grass. That's a real thing. If you don't ground yourself, I used to not believe it was a real thing until I got a grounding mat. And what happens is, let's say you live in New York City and you're on the 30th floor. What happens is I used to do grounding, not with my feet grounded. I was wearing sneakers, but just like pushing my chi down, bringing it up, circulating the chi and grounding it. And that was a lot of work. And I did that for many years. When I started to ground, I realized that I was like a fuzzy ball of energy. Like I had all this energy around me. And when I grounded it out over a period of a few weeks, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, a couple of times a day, then every other day. So now every 3 days, I get on, take my shoes off, get on the grounding mat and just stay on it for 20 minutes. When you ground yourself, if you don't ground yourself, it accumulates around you and you're like a little fuzzy ball of energy all around. And which is not a terror, you could live to be 100 years old like that. But I'm telling you, you got to get your energy flowing. You got to do your Tai Chi. You got to do your spinal. I didn't talk about when we talked about this posture. You've also got to do a spinal stretch, spinal flexibility. There's a lot of things we have to do. So number one is breathing. Number two is posture. Number three is energy cultivation. Number four is we've got to change our relationship with food. And I share this. If this doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. But number one, eat much less food. Much less food. I eat probably now between a half and a third of what I used to eat. Way, way, way lower food quantities. Yeah, I tried a grounding. It didn't feel right for me. But anyway, Um, but yeah, so eat much less food, much lower quantities of food. Your body doesn't need anywhere near the amount of food that most people feed it, much less food. Why do we do that? Because when you eat and then you eat and you eat again and you keep eating and the fork just keeps moving and you just keep eating and eating and eating, what's happening is your digestive system somehow has to figure out how to process all that food. It didn't need all that food. And you put a tremendous amount of stress on your digestive system, it will do the job. It will digest the food, but then of course you eat more and then you eat more while you're still digesting this meal. You just keep eating and we just tax our digestive system and we end up in a 24-hour cycle where all of our psychic energy, all of our body's energy is drawn into the digestion process. And that means the energy is not where it belongs. It belongs in your joints, it belongs flowing, flowing through your cells and your joints. You want your energy flowing. And the more food you eat, the more that energy, emergency, has to come down and is your internal energy is used to digest your food. So eat much less food. Not something you can't flip a switch and eat half as much food today as you did yesterday. It's a process. It's a journey. You have to start shopping, meal planning, eating less, finding better snacks. And what should you eat? You should eat whatever you're comfortable digesting. I don't want to get in the business, nor should I think anybody be in the business of telling other people what to eat. All the research is out there. You do what you do, but eat food that you can digest easily. If the food is not comfortable for you, just stop eating it. So eat much less. Number two, eat much higher quality foods, better foods, get rid of the processed foods and the sugar. We can talk about that separately because that's a real journey for a lot of people. That's a real struggle. And number three, in terms of changing your relationship to food, chew your food much more thoroughly. Chew your food to a liquidy pulp. Why? And if you need a number, 23. And where does the number 23 come from? From my mother. 23 times keeps your tummy from danger, then you can stay up to watch The Lone Ranger. That's how she told me I'm supposed to chew my food 23 times. So chew your food to a liquidy pulp because when you swallow it, it puts almost no burden on your digestive system. It's the minimum amount. You want your digestive system to do its thing without having to draw energy constantly from other parts of your body. And that's it. And the fifth thing is get off your butt. Make sure your hip joints, you want to do some leg swings and leg rotations. Make sure your hip joints are moving. Want to make sure your top of your body's connected to the bottom. You don't want to be in a permanent sitting mode. We sit all day at the office, then we come home and sit on the couch, and then we sit, we sit, we sit, we sit. You've got to walk, you have to move your hips, keep your blood flowing, walk, do some cardio, etc. I don't know why I felt like talking about health, but those are the 5 elements of health. And I'm talking about, again, energetic health at the cellular level, not push-ups and bench press and sit-ups. Again, Villa, you eat what you want to eat, and I think other people should eat what they want to eat. Because I think when you tell people what to eat, it sets up a guilt or a shame or a failure sense. Like, I know I should be eating healthier, but I can't. Just eat whatever you're comfortable eating, but just eat a lot less of it. And over time, you'll start to incorporate healthier foods. There you go. Yeah, and you're correct. Like, we should be eating foods that are easier to chew and digest. That's a big thing. So if you want practice, um, if you want to practice chewing your food thoroughly, eat spaghetti because you could chew it 100 times and it's still got these little strands. Just keep chewing, keep liquefying your food before you chew it. All right. Thoughts, comments? What do you guys want to talk about next? Oh, I have this new thing I started like a couple of days ago. I wish I could tell you who she was, but I saw a live stream from this woman. She was like a neurologist, and something that she said just triggered this whole concept in my head, and I've been working on it for a couple of days, and I'll share it with you. It seems pretty powerful. What she said was that your let's just call it, there you go. Yeah, food quality and habits. Yep. Changing your relationship with food. Yep. Um, what was the fifth? Breath, posture, energy, changing your relationship with food, and walking or moving around. Yep. Eat less, move your body, posture, breathing, and energy cultivation. And make sure a couple of times a week that you're grounding yourself. It's not a myth. At least my experience says it's not a myth. Um, yeah. Oh, I was going to share this technique. It's not a technique. It's a kind of like a discovery. So what she was saying is that, and she said it in terms of the way she thinks, she's a scientist and she was talking about, brain function and all that. Has nothing to do with ascension. Mhm. The front part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, the prefrontal lobe, like the big part of your brain is right behind your forehead. It actually has a map, right? It maps out your reality. So just go with this for a second. Inside your brain, it maps out your reality. So, for example, I was just at the gym earlier today. On the way home, I'm thinking about this, my prefrontal, like, you need that map to keep your reality structured. Like, I need, when I drive home from the gym, I can't be driving home from the gym for the first time every time. It has to go by memory and by routine and mapped out, right? So it stores this and but expanding that, it maps out your entire reality structure. It holds your entire reality structure like a library in place. Your prefrontal cortex, the prefrontal lobe, is like a giant map of reality and it holds it in place. So whatever you did yesterday, whatever you've been doing for 10 years is all in your prefrontal lobe, and you're just you now know where you are, you know how to get around, you know who this person is and that person is. It maps out your entire reality. I don't know what it was, but I said, well, what if we just erase that timeline and just erase everything that's in there, bliss it out, make it into just a cloud, just get rid of all that specific structure. And now nothing, you can create an entirely new structure to your own reality. You can create an entirely new structure to your own reality. So, for example, in this part of your brain, I'll use my wife as an example. I have all the memories stored about my wife and who she is and her personality and all whole records of all the things that she said, all the things she does that I like, all the things she does that upset me. I've got this whole memory stored. And so when I see her, I don't see her in the now moment. I see her as this structure, this whole library of memory, and that's who she is. Like I know if I say this, that, in other, you see what I'm saying? It's not present moment anymore. It's this is my memory of her. What I'm seeing when I see her with my eyes, I'm also seeing the whole history, the whole everything that goes into making up who she is in my mind. And what I realized, and what other people have said, is you can erase that and choose to only put in your memory the positive things about her. I don't have to hold on to the negative aspects of this timeline that I'm in. I don't have to hold on to the negative aspects of my past relationship with her, with anybody. I simply just don't acknowledge that. All I see is the present moment, and all the whole filter, all I filter out is I only see the good part of her. And this is how you can literally, she said it kind of like in shifting relationships. So you can shift your relationship instead of hanging on to a definition of a person forever and ever and ever and just hanging on to that. You can just let all of that go, wipe it clean, see in the present moment, and make a decision to only filter in the good part of her. And I only all the other stuff is gone. I don't come there with a whole history of everything she's ever done wrong and everything is all gone. And all I see, all I can choose to see, I can choose if I want to only see what I want to see, or only allow when she talks or what, only allow as if that was coming from the best of her. So it's kind of a little trick. But then we can do it as a collective. We can actually, you can do it as an individual too. You can literally recreate a different structure, a different timeline. And I've been working on this, kind of meditating about this, of releasing the library that's in there, just releasing the library of my own fears, my own subconscious expectations, and all, releasing all of that, releasing these structures that are in there, just releasing all those structures and forming new, more positive structures. And actually not from an ascended point of view, but actually using a physical tool, using my physical brain to remap. I'm rewiring or reprogramming or reimaging this part of my brain to see what I want to see, because reality is whatever you believe it to be. And as I said in the cycle of mind, if you see something, you tend to believe it. And if you believe something, you'll see it again. And you'll believe it again, and you'll see it again. That's the cycle of mind. You see what you believe what you see. Well, you believe what, if there's that person right there, I believe it. And then I start to see it, and you get into these cycles. You can short circuit that, erase that, and start to see in your own mind new structures, new concepts, new ideas. Is that helpful? It's the first time I've ever really talked about that, so I'm not really sure how to the right way to express it. So I haven't really thought through like an exercise or a meditation. Well, I've been playing around with it in my own meditation. Um, or I'll just, put watching whatever I'm watching, and put the TV on pause and go through this kind of thought exercise. And it was funny because today when I was coming home from the gym, I realized, oh wow, we actually need that structure. Like that structure is important. That's what holds the reality together. That structure that we have it holds everything together because now I know how to get home. The gym's only, 3 miles away, but if I didn't have that structure, I was like, what? Where do I turn? How do I start the car? You wouldn't know anything. So all of these memories are stored so that you will have structure, but it doesn't just store the physical map of how to get from place to place. It stores the map of your relationships with people and all the experiences, and it creates a structure that keeps you in that structured reality. And you can erase those lines, wipe them out completely, and create entirely new structures, new beliefs, new ways of thinking about people, circumstances, situations. And that's then what you can cultivate in your own mind. How you erase or remove negative energies. Yep. Negative memories. So, first of all right. So, first of all, when you're in six-dimensional awareness, and we'll do that. We can do that meditation in a couple of minutes. When you're in six-dimensional awareness, if you want to, you can look down on the fifth dimension and in the third dimension. But the minute that explodes, remember I told you the universe explodes? The sixth dimension is the spot where it goes from one unity pulsation, and then boom, explodes into everything that is, all the light in the fifth dimension, and then much of that light goes down into the third dimension, etc. You're above all of that. So everything you're looking at in the fifth dimension and the third dimension is what's already happened. The sixth dimension is the present moment. It's where time stands still. So every memory that you have is not a real thing today. The past is the past, now is now. I did something in the past, but I'm not doing it anymore, right? However, the way the human mind works is we do something, it has an emotional charge to it. Like, let's say you make a decision um, that I don't know, it could be anything, it could be any one of a million things. You do something, you make a decision to do something, you think, should I do it? Should I not do it? You do it. And now, because you had to make that decision, should I do it or should I not? It was an emotional decision. It's like charged in your memory. And now that decision is forever on your mind. It's always there. And you hold on to it. So memories are things that you're holding on to, that you're giving power to. But here's the thing. Memories are also good because it's good to linger on positive memories. And maybe that's the answer to your question. We can't erase the negative memory, but you can also absorb and anchor and hold on to positive memories. That's why I always take like a mental snapshot. If I'm playing with my grandkids, when I have a moment of clarity, I just take a mental movie. Oh, this is amazing. I want to remember this. I want to remember this particular moment. So if you keep giving yourself and noticing more and more positive memories and creating more and more positive memories, which is something we don't really do. We tend to remember the bad things or the struggle or the suffering or the problems. We don't really remember the successes. We don't remember the joys. We don't remember the nice, pleasant moments that we have. So maybe that would be if negative memories, you struggle with them because they're not ever going to go away. They're part of you. Again, you can clear space. You can try to clear them out. You can try to clear them out. But another way is just to overwhelm them with positive memories. As someone once said, if you're going to overthink things, why not overthink all the positive possibilities? Just overthink how great life's going to be. And just, oh my God, I can't stop thinking about how great life is going to be and how wonderful the collective is going to grow. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be in the sixth dimension. It's incredible. If you're going to overthink about the positive, but we default to overthinking about the negative. But it doesn't have to be that way. And it's just that's the way the third dimensional world is. We see things as problems. We see things as different. We notice the difference between things. We notice, our setbacks and our problems and the problems and the imperfections of other people. It's just what we've trained ourselves, what society has trained us to look at. But we can train ourselves to look at the positive things as well. This is a good question. Correct. And when you're in the sixth dimension, this is the key to the sixth dimension. It's a real energy. It's not just your imagination. It's not just sitting in your meditation and imagining a different reality. In the sixth dimension, we can actually harness that energy. As I said earlier, if I'm in the sixth dimension and then I explain it to somebody else and they, oh, I get it, boop, that's a real energetic connection. That's very real. And the only word that I have to describe it, which is not the right word, but it's magnetic. It's not physical, it's a magnetic connection. And then the third person shows up. That's real energy. And we as a collective, the whole point of the collective is to draw the circle around all this energy and capture it. And then, as I said, we'll start to have organizational meetings. Once we have an organized structure, we can start to apply this energy as we choose. But it now our energy, it's our power, and we're not competing for third dimensional power. So the sixth dimensional manifestations are actually going to be more powerful and more direct. But you're in a personal sense, we all, what you just said, Natalia, we have to create our own reality by choosing the things we want to put your energy into, you want to put your attention into, because you don't get what you want. You don't get what you desire. You don't get what you deserve. You don't get what you wish for. You don't get what you pray for. You get what you pay attention to. And if you put your focus and energy on something, that's exactly what you'll get. And if we focus on all the flaws of people and all the negative memory, that's exactly what we'll get. If we focus on all the positives of people, the beauty within them, all the nice things they say, all the good experience we've had with them, that's what we'll get as well. Yeah, this Substack format, like I said, I was really worried about leaving TikTok because the live is so powerful. But the big thing that you lose is you lose randos. You lose. It's not a. It doesn't promote your live, and only your subscribers see it. I also can send an email every time I go live, but I feel like people are getting too many emails from us, and I don't want to just bombard them with 3 emails a day. Hey, it went live. Hey, the live is now up as a recording on the post. Hey, did everyone get looking for my phone in my pocket, it's right here. Did everyone get where did my phone go? Did everyone get the a notification about Friday's meditation live? It would be like a sub, it might have even been an email. I'm not really sure. I just sent it before we started this live. I really like this format. I am so happy that it works, and I think it works for us. So the only email I got was from about the secret of the golden flower on Sunday. Did anyone get a notification of the 4 o'clock? Um, yeah, the Sunday notification. Nobody got the other one. All right. Well, I'm still learning. I didn't get it, and maybe it's on my phone and Substack. Yeah, a push note. That's what it was supposed to do. A push notification from Substack. So there's two things coming up. One is the Friday 4 p.m. notification. That was should have been that push notification through Substack. And then there's the second one was the email I sent, because I'm not going to do that on Substack. I'm going to do that on Zoom. So you have to register for it. And I sent that email. I got that email at whatever 4:30. Yeah, about 4:20. Excuse me. I love this. I'm really, really happy. So you got I know I got the email, so I'm sure everybody got the email for Sunday, but you also got the email for the meditation workshop or the push notification. I'm still learning how this all works, so I'll get better at it. I'm coachable. I just want to get better. And that's another thing too. As a collective, as we start to organize and spend more time here, really, once we leave here and go back into our own hobbit holes, you go into your life, I go into my life, we really have to get in the mindset of holding ourselves to a higher standard in everything that we do. Um, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that when we go to the sixth dimension, holding yourself to a higher standard so that that voice inside you that says, you don't have to be excellent. You don't have to be really great at it. You could just be average. And that's that voice that's pulling us down, but we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Um, Phil, maybe go into the chat because I can't troubleshoot this now, right? While we're doing a live, I can't do that. But go into the chat, or if you can't message me through the chat, or find a way to message me, or you can message me on TikTok too. But I can't wait to delete the TikTok app. I'm so excited about that. Just an add to calendar. Yes, add to calendar. There's no registration required. It's add to calendar. Yes, John, it's add to calendar. The other one, the Sunday one, you have to register because it's on Zoom. Just still learning, man. I'm There's a lot that this platform can do. There's some limitations I'm noticing that I'm not entirely happy with, but there's a lot that this platform can do, um, and I like it. I'm really happy with it. All right, let's do the whole fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh dimension, and then we'll take a break from there. And just relax any stress that you're holding, any tension that you're holding in your face, your jaw, your shoulders, your arms, your legs, your torso. Just let it all drain out. Imagine we're in an airplane. The airplane takes off. And as the airplane rises, we can look down. We can see the people walking around, the cars on the highway. We get higher, the rivers, the farmland, the city. We can see it all. And eventually the plane rises into the clouds, dark, gloomy, misty on the windows. But now the plane rises above the clouds. And all around us in all directions is blue sky, limitless in all directions. The clouds below, that's mind. The people below, they operate under the control of subconscious mind. You can still look down and see the third dimension. You can see yourself sitting in a chair, but just know that that body and nothing in the third dimension has a mind of its own. It's all driven from higher energies and higher impulses. And now you can program that avatar. You're no longer under in the prison of your own subconscious mind. You can change the way that avatar thinks, the way it behaves, because it's really just waiting for you to tell it what to do. Your body has no mind of its own. It has no agenda. It's not trying to get in your way or stop you. It's just waiting for you to train it, to teach it, to tell it what you want to do. You're also in this fourth dimension above time. The universe operates in much longer rhythms and cycles. And you can now learn to work with those rhythms and cycles. And you have endless power. Just look around you. It's endless in all directions. Blue sky in all directions. Nobody is playing defense. Whatever you write down in your journal, because this fourth dimension is a dimension of journaling, whatever you write down here, whatever you plan in this dimension, whatever you think, whatever you try to accomplish, nobody is playing defense. You have all the power in the world to change yourself. No limits. And nobody's playing defense. You can score a touchdown, kick the ball off again, and score another touchdown, and another touchdown, and another touchdown. No one's playing defense. No one's trying to break up your pass or anything. You can do anything you want. Now let's turn our attention upward toward the fifth dimension. Imagine that sun, the ball of light, whereas the third dimension is a dimension of mind. Well, let's stay in the fourth dimension for a second and keep looking down in the third dimension. The dimension of mind, the dimension of vibration, training yourself in new ways and being, you need to create new rhythms and cycles. You need to create new patterns. Mind is vibratory and it will coalesce around new patterns. And in absence of the new patterns, it'll just keep staying with the old patterns. Nothing will change unless you disrupt the old patterns with new, better patterns. And that's what we can do from the fourth dimension. We can define new habits, new routines, new thought structures, new word, positive, optimistic word tracks, and create those as habits, as routines, as rhythms. And then reality, our reality that we experience, will begin to coalesce around those new rhythms. Mind will respond to repeated, cyclical, balanced, rhythmic inputs. Mind will respond. Just remember, the fourth dimension is journaling. This is actually how you're going to communicate down to the third dimension with yourself, and communicate from the third dimension with your higher self. Journaling. Let's turn our attention now to the fifth dimension, the dimension of light. Mhm. In order to fully experience the full ascension of the fifth dimension, in order to fully absorb the light and the energy of the fifth dimension, you need to do three things. And these are not snap your finger things. These are things you're going to be cultivating over a long period of time. Number one, you have to bring your life into balance. If your third dimensional life is out of balance, traumatic, very emotional, stressed, anxiety, depression, any kind of problems in the third dimension, you can understand the fifth dimension, but you can't anchor the light because you're out of balance. So you've got to be on a path of bringing your life to balance slowly every day. Get more and more balanced, more and more aligned every day. So that's number one. That's how you're going to anchor more light in the fifth dimension. Number two, in order to anchor more light in the fifth dimension, you've got to be more heart centered, less head centered, less trying to fix everything, explain everything, less mission oriented and more just relaxed and receiving, receptive, surrendering. Just let the universe go on its own pace. You're balanced. Let everybody else go on their own journey. Just be more heart centered, more heart led, more aware of your own energies, more aware of your own emotions, just allowing things to happen. Again, that's how you're going to be able to anchor more light in the fifth dimension. And then the third element of the fifth dimension is unity consciousness. We are not ascending for ourselves. We are ascending to create an energetic pattern that the next person can follow. Because as you ascend, every positive thing you do, every kind word, every generous act, every time you hug your kids or your grandkids, every time you say something nice to somebody, all of that creates energetic patterns that didn't exist before. You created them, and you're not creating them for yourself. Well, of course, you're going to be happier and more successful and more abundant when you're ascending. Yes, you do get the personal benefit, but you're not doing it for that result. You're doing it to create those energetic pathways that other people, the next people, can follow. It makes it easier. The more people who ascend, the easier it is to ascend. So unity consciousness is this getting rid of, because in the fifth dimension, it's very different, has nothing whatsoever to do with the third dimension. It's totally different. There's no you. It's only us. It's only all of the light of the universe. So let's start to rise up to the fifth dimension. Let's absorb that light. And I want you to think about anchoring as much of this light into your being as you possibly can. So imagine yourself in the fourth dimension, limitless blue skies in all direction, this big, beautiful sun overhead. That's the light of the universe. That's everything. Inside that light is every instantiation, every zillions and zillions of things, but also all those zillions of things are in that light. And as that light of the universe lowers itself and comes closer to you, the minute that light touches the external part of your energy field, I want you to merge all the light of the universe into your own energetic field. Your energy and the light of the universe is all the same thing. Just let it enter into you, weave itself into your being, into your muscles and bones. Put the light in your cells, and every cell is just absorbing, sucking up all that light. The light is weaved into your own DNA. You are becoming the light of the universe more and more and more. I want you to imagine you're looking down on the earth, and surrounding the earth, which is actually true, there actually is a web of light surrounding the earth. I want you to see it from above. And as you get closer to that web of light, you see that web of light is really nothing more than a bunch of individual points of light. You are one of those points of light. And I want you to see how your point of light is getting brighter and brighter. And as your light brightens, the whole web gets stronger. I want you to take the people that are in this room, and I want you to link arms with them energetically. And I want to feel their light, their energy flowing through you, your energy flowing through them as a collective. We link arms and our light becomes brighter, and the whole web of light gets brighter. I want you to also know there are millions of good people in the world who are not here right now. And all of them are doing kind things and generous things and hugging their kids and being healthy, making positive life choices. Their light is bright too. Let's link arms with all those good people around the earth, and that whole web of light around the earth gets stronger and brighter and brighter and stronger. Now, rise above the fifth dimension. And so beneath you, now, and you're in the sixth dimension, beneath you is all of that light. You see it, but the sixth dimension is frictionless, it's its own place. And above you is the seventh dimension. Picture it as a very powerful waterfall of pulsation that's coming right from source. That pulsation is source. And I want you to feel merged with that pulsation in the seventh dimension, and just rest into it like you're resting into a waterfall, and all of that power is flowing through your being, pulsating through your own being. You are that pulsation. You are the source. You are right there as the universe is coming into being, and it begins to pulsate, that powerful pulsation. You are right there. You are that pulsation. It's in you. It is you. You are all of it. And as that waterfall of pulsation comes down, the sixth dimension is this really impossible place where this source, this unity source of pulsation, explodes into everything that's in the fifth and the third and the fourth dimension. You're right there in the sixth dimension. You're right there just as it's exploding out. You're just above that. And when you look down, everything that is comes from that pulsation, from that seventh dimensional pulsation. Everything that is right there. You see it literally exploding and turning itself into a giant light of many, many universes. Light that creates countless universes. And the sixth dimension is up. If you look up, you're in the pulsation, and below you, but still frictionless, is everything that is. Everything that is bursts out, becomes light, and some of that light goes right down into the third dimension. Some of it stays in the fifth dimension. Now, in the sixth dimension, we have autonomy. over the fifth dimension. Just like in the fourth dimension, we have autonomy over our lives in the third dimension. In the sixth dimension, we are everything. It's different than the fourth dimension. I'll explain that in a minute. But the sixth dimension is frictionless. It's like I said, it's this impossible place where the source, the one unity source, that a pulsation of existence, a pulsation of the creation of the universe, boom, bursts out into the fifth dimension and beyond. Boom, and you're right there watching it all happen. In fact, you can look down on that fifth dimension, the light of the universe, and just put that light right into your own heart chakra. All of it is in you. Breathe it right in. The physical sensation of being in the sixth dimension requires some energy cultivation, but you will feel, the only word I can use is a magnetic feeling in your skeleton, and you'll feel a magnetic energy in your, particularly in your arms and your hands. That's a sixth dimensional power. That's anchoring in the sixth dimension. From the sixth dimension, you can send yourself messages down below. The most important message, I've been teaching this for a long time before I even understood the sixth dimension, is holding the weight. In the sixth dimension, it's not verbal. There's not words, and it's not location. It's above words. The sixth dimension is the place where time stands still. Before everything has burst into infinite reality, before it's burst out into everything, time stands still. And as you spend time in awareness in the sixth dimension, doesn't do you much good to do this by yourself. This is the point of the collective. Each of us creates a magnetic energy. And in that, when I'm in the sixth dimension and then you show up in the sixth dimension, there is that magnetic connection between us, nonverbal, not specific to place or time. It's a magnetic energy. It's a sixth dimensional energy. And all of us are sharing this sixth dimensional energy, this magnetic connection between the people that are on this live. And if you're watching this on a recording, you're in the energy too. It's real. That energetic connection between us is very, very real. And the Utopia Collective is a circle around this energy so none of it gets lost. This is where we can harness, collect, gather, and then direct this energy to our own goals in the future. But first, we have to learn how to cultivate this sixth dimensional energy. And because time stands still, you're always in the present moment. In the sixth dimension, you have absolutely no need to do anything or say anything or be anything. You just are in the present moment. But you still have to shop and cook and clean and do the dishes and all that good stuff, take care of the kids. But what you can do now from a sixth dimensional consciousness, you can do those things in the present moment. You can do the laundry and watch it and pay attention to all the little details. Feel the warm stuff coming out of the dryer. Learn, fold your clothes. I would just use the word P and Q, pride and quality. Everything that you do from a sixth dimensional standpoint, and do it with pride and quality. Pay attention to it. Learn how to get better at it. Do it the very, very best you can. You can still do things. You have to do things, but now you can do them in the present moment. What with your kids? This is where your real power lies. This is where you have complete control over the moment. And by rising here, you've activated or uncovered, which has always been there, a magnetic energy. And now we all are sharing this magnetic energy and we're collecting it and holding on to it. And we're going to use this magnetic energy in the not too distant future. And whereas in the third dimension, it responds to repeated action and rhythms and patterns and cycles. We're now going to create magnetic patterns in the sixth dimension, and we're going to be able to manifest our plans all the way through the fifth, fourth, and third dimension, only using magnetic effort, not using physical effort. And again, look up into the seventh dimension and absorb yourself. Just let that waterfall of pulsation. This is source. When they say connect with source, this is what you're doing right now. Connect with the source of the universe. Right before it explodes into everything, it's just pure source, pure pulsation, and you are that pulsation. And when you lose this awareness, you're not going to drop all the way down to the third dimension. You're going to drop into the sixth dimension, and you're going to be in the present moment where time stands still. You're going to be able to start acting in this sixth dimensional awareness. You're going to start to be able to, just focus on the words pride and quality. Do whatever you're doing. Driving, pay attention to driving. Don't be verbalizing. Six dimensions nonverbal. Pay attention to what you're doing. You're with your kids, pay attention. You're playing tennis, pay attention. You're doing the laundry, do it the best you can. You're washing the dishes, do a good job. Don't worry about how long it takes. It's always the present moment. Time stands still. This is your six dimensional understanding. This is where we're building the collective. This magnetic energy that we're collecting, this is where the collective, boom, manifests out into the lower dimensions. We collect, gather, plan, organize, manifest our timeline from here. We manifest the timeline we want to live in. We energize that timeline. We magnetize that timeline. And because we're in the sixth dimension, that timeline influences everything below. Again, connect with source. Every time you say that when you think you should be connecting with source, rise through these dimensions, go into the seventh dimension, and just realize that that is the dimension of pulsation. It's everything in the universe before it blows up into a million things. That's source, and that's who you are, and that's flowing through you. And what we're doing is releasing everything that isn't aligned with that. Nothing else matters except flowing with source. And when your three-dimensional responsibilities come up, like doing the laundry, cooking, cleaning, do it in the present moment with pride and quality. do a good job, do a thorough job, learn, get better at it, pay attention to what you're doing. And just know that you own the fifth dimension. It's yours, it's in your heart. All of that is internalized into you. You are the universe. The universe is in you, and you are the universe. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Hell yeah, we need like a collective like slogan. Utopia Collective. We need something. I'm a college football fan, so we need some sort of a cheer. Here's the crazy thing about this magnetic power. It doesn't take millions of people. It takes a relatively small number of people, all focused on the same thing, all in collective unity consciousness, all agreeing and pushing towards the same goal, pushing all of our magnetic energy toward the same goal. We got this. We got this. As I was saying yesterday in the live yesterday, um, I'm learning to be more heart centered and be more patient and more surrendering and kind of just let everything happen as it happens. But what's missing for me is I like to win, and I don't apologize for it. When I play a game or I coach, we are going to win. This collective, we will figure out how to harness that energy, and we'll learn how to turn it into energetic templates, and we will create our own timeline. And here's the beauty in the sixth dimension. You can swipe through millions of timelines that we don't want. I already know all the timelines I don't want. All the timelines I don't want is where I'm confused. What's the fifth dimension? When are the aliens coming? All this unknown uncertainty, lack of, sovereignty. Those timelines are all gone, all gone. And the timeline that we're choosing is knowledge, self-confident, self-reliant. We are taking care of ourselves. We already have all the knowledge we need. Now we need to turn those words into actual actions. And that's the beauty of the collective, because over time, we're going to gather more and more and more of this 6D energy. And when we get organized, we'll start to push that energy in very organized patterns, and the world will respond to those patterns. I'm so glad you guys are all here for this, and you're in for the journey. That's really wonderful. That's all I can tell you. It really pumps me up. It gives me hope that we can do all of this. See, all of these things that I imagine. See, here's the thing. Like, the only reason the 3D world still exists is because 8 billion people push their energy into it. If a billion people took a better reality, an ascended reality, and a billion people put their energy into that, that would become real. And the three-dimensional world would lose its power. It already is fading. You can see that it's fading. Just imagine there's a plow coming down the street. You have to jump to one side or the other. Are you going to invest the rest of your life into some lowly, negative, limited, dense, third-dimensional reality, or create a different one? It's hard to create a different one because there's not enough of us there. But once we get a critical mass going, which we will, once we get this critical mass on this other timeline, it'll be easy to gravitate to that timeline because it will be real. There we go. I got a message that my internet was bad for a second, so maybe I froze. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. I hear that my grandkids are downstairs, so I'm going to cut off for now and enjoy the rest of my evening. And I hope you all do the same. And please, one more thing, go on the chat. We've got to energize that chat. So stop into the Substack chat once or twice a day. You don't have to be on there hours. Just once or twice a day, ask a question, leave a comment. Tell us about your meditation practice today or what your commitments are. Hold yourself accountable. We got to get the chat going. And once we get the chat going, we're going to move on. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I love all of you, and I love the energy that you're here, and I hope you feel all that energy coming right back to you. So this is great. And if those of you have never connected with Source in the seventh dimension, I never talked about that on TikTok. I never got into the sixth and seventh dimension, but here I feel free to do it. So you guys are the beneficiaries. We're going to spend more time in this sixth and seventh dimensional. It's muscle memory. The more time you spend in this meditation, sixth and seventh dimension, the more time you spend there, the easier it is to spend time there again. It becomes muscle memory, more familiar, until one day this becomes the default. Trust me, this is the way it all works. I'm not guessing. I don't make shit up. This is true. All right, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. And everyone have a great day. I'm going to have a recording of this. It'll show up on as a post. So make some comments on there as well. Make sure you're in the chat. And I'll see some of you, hopefully all of you, Friday, 4 o'clock, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. And we'll do our deep dive meditation. We're going to do the clearing space meditation. Love you all, guys. Everyone have a great rest of your day.